Hi, my name is Saraneta and you're watching Brain Security. We're on day 9 of the Advent of Cyber by TryHackMe, and today's topic is Passwords or Cracking Christmas. Let us dive into the room and start with the story. With time between Easter and Christmas being destabilized, the once quiet systems of the TBFC began showing traces of encrypted data buried deep within their servers. So Carrotbane stumbled upon a series of locked PDF and ZIP files labeled the North Pole Asset List. Rumors spread that these could contain fragments of Santa's master gift registry, critical information that could help Malheur control the festive imbalance between both worlds. Sir Cadwell sets out to crack the encryption, learning how weak passwords can expose even the most guaranteed secrets. Can the elves adapt fast and prevent their secrets from being discovered? Learning objectives: how password based encryption protects files like PDFs and zip archives, why weak passwords make encrypted files vulnerable, how attackers use dictionary and brute force attacks, and a hands on exercise: the importance of using strong and complex passwords. A few points to remember: the strength protection depends almost entirely on password. Short and common password can be guessed. That is why whenever you create a new account on any site or application, they tell you to choose a strong password, usually without your name and your birth dates, because those are the most common passwords and they are easy to crack, and we will see those methods in this room. Connecting to the machine, let us start it. How attackers recover weak passwords. They have given two methods: dictionary attacks and mask attacks. And they have also mentioned brute force aware. They are kind of interrelated. So, what happens in dictionary attacks? They have a list of common passwords, which is usually found during data breach. They just take that list and try to crack your password using different tools. These word lists often contain leaked password from previous breaches, common substitutions like password 123, predictable combination of names and dates, especially your name and your birth date, right? And other patterns that people frequently use. Mask attacks. Brute force and mask attacks goes one step further. Brute force is trying all possible ways to crack into your system, crack your password, but time taken to crack the password increases exponentially with length and the complexity of the password. Okay. Mask attacks aim to reduce that time by limiting guesses to a specific format. For example, trying all combinations of three lowercase letters followed by digits. Usually, developers include instructions such as use 11 characters and use one special character and use digits, right? Which is for our convenience. Okay. But it can also be used to guess passwords using these methods. You get an idea of what kind of passwords are there in the database of that particular site. Practical tips attackers use and defenders should know about. The word list, fast wins. Common lists are rocku.txt and commonpassword.txt. If word list fails, move to the target word list, company names, project names, or data from the target. If that fails, try macro incremental attacks for short passwords. Use GPU accelerated cracking when possible. It dramatically speeds up attacks for some algorithms. Okay. Keep an eye on resource use. Cracking is CPU and GPU intensive because you are computing, right? You are calculating something that requires a lot of resources. That behavior can be detected on a monitored endpoint. Now let us get to the hands-on part. You will files for this section in the desktop directory of the machine. Switch to it by running cd command. Use file command or open the file with a hex viewer. This helps pick the right tool. If it is a PDF, proceed with PDF tools. If it is a zip, proceed with zip tools. Flag PDF and flag PDF and flag zip. You can see over here that this zip file is encrypted with AES, Advanced Encryption Standard. In the first step, we use the file command to get data about the PDF file and the zip file. Tools to use, pick one based on the file type. For PDF, PDF crack, John via PDF to John. For zip this and general, John very flexible and hashcat, GPU acceleration more advanced. Try dictionary attack first, fast and often successful. Example PDF with PDF crack and rock your text. We will use the PDF crack command and give it the file and give it the list. We found the password naughty list. Now, example using John. Create a hash that John can understand. Zip to John, flag zip hash dot txt. Now, zip to John is a part of a very useful tool called John the Ripper. It is a very good password cracking tool widely used in cybersecurity, and this is one of the functionality of that tool. We'll give the word list and then the zip hash dot txt. So what happened over here? We first used this command and then we used this command. Over here, what did we do? We told this command that we have a file called flag.zip. Unzip the file and write the contents of this file into this new file called ziphash.txt. Then in this command, we gave it the word list rockyo.txt and told it to work on the ziphash.txt. Then it gave us this output and it loaded one password hash. Default input encoding was UTF-8, that is fine. It ran on 2 CPU cores and we can press Q or Control to abort and it found the hash winter forever. That is our flag, I think, because it is hidden over here and the session is complete. Above, we learned how different techniques are used to crack the password, and now we will look at detection of indicators and telemetry, meaning we will find out signs that SOCs use to spot if the attacker has tried to crack the passwords or used any such tools. So, first of all, what do they do? Offline cracking does not hit login services, so logouts and failed login dashboards they stay quiet. We can detect the work where it runs on endpoints and jump boxes, the important signals to monitor and include. The important signals to monitor include process creation. When you use this password cracking tools, the SOCs can see that you have used these commands or you have used this command line traits. Okay. When these tools give you the result is stored in this pot files. So any of this is encountered, it is a high alert that someone is trying password cracking on your file or your system. It's worth noting that on Windows system, Sysmon event ID1 captures process creation with full command line properties, while on Linux, audit XCVE or EDR sensors capture binaries and arguments. Then we have GPU and resource artifacts. GPU cracking is loud. Sudden high utilization on hosts can be picked up and would need to be investigated. NVIDIA SMI shows long running process name called Hashcat or John. High steady GPU utilization and power drawn while the fan curve spikes. Here are some libraries loaded that you can look out for. Network hints light but useful. Offline cracking, that means network cannot be of much help. Yet, the download of large text files such as this one or Git clones of popular word list. Package installs, for example, apt install John Hashcat and tool updates and driver fetches for GPU runtimes. Then we have unusual file reads. Repeated reads of files such as wordless or encrypted files would need analysis. Detection. Below are some examples of detection rules and hunting queries we can put to use across various environments. First we have Sysmon, then we have Linux audit rules and Sigma style root Windows process create for cracking tools. What is meant by these things? over here in sys1, it says that process name and command line. If any such process such as john.exe or hashcat.exe is run, or if the command line encounters these two things, the alert is generated for the SOC. Same way for Linux, it says that if you have this word list and if it is red, R stands for red, then you create an alert. It also checks for processes such as exev that we saw over here. Sigma Cell Windows Process Create for cracking tools. It is a detection template used in Windows. Title says password cracking tools execution, ID, and product windows, and selection name image ends with these files. Selection command wordless. Condition select name or selection command. Any of this is fine. Then alerts are generated, as simple as that. Response playbook. Now, first we saw how passwords are attacked, then we saw how they can be detected, what signs to look for, and then we have response playbook. How are we going to respond to it? A playbook is a official documentation that you can refer to and find out what steps need to be taken when you encounter an alert or any other suspicious activity in the SOC environment. As security analysts and Webull, it is important to have a playbook to follow. When such incidents occur, the immediate actions take are isolate the host if malicious activity is detected. If it is a lab, tag and suppress. Capture chat artifacts such as process list, process memory dump, NVIDIA SMI, sample output, open files, and encrypted file. Preserve the working directory, wordless hash file and shell history, review which files were decrypted, search for follow-on access, lateral movement or exfiltration, identify the origin and intent of the activity. Was it authorized? If not, escalate to the IRT means incident response team. Remediate the activity, rotate affected keys and passwords. Affected keys means in encryption we use keys, right? So you again rotate it and change your keys to remediate whatever has happened, and enforce multi-factor authentication for accounts. Close with education and correct placement of tools into approval sandboxes. What is a flag inside the encrypted PDF? To attain the flags, we will have to open the files using the passwords that we have found. First, for the PDF, we had naughty list, and for the zip file, we have winter forever. Cracking PDF is easy. Now we'll go to the zip file. Extraction complete. That is it for today. See you in the next one.